are halfway through the season, coming up to the summer break. Has it exceeded what you had hoped for at the start of the year?
The season so far has certainly exceeded our expectations because we started winter testing with some poor performances, and we slowly got to understand the car and bettered it. And then obviously, once the real racing started, we were right at the very front. But we were not always the quickest car. Ferrari had fantastic performances in Bahrain.
Look how Leclerc is gaining on Vettel, passing Vettel, into the lead goes Charles Leclerc.
The car broke down, Leclerc should have won.
There's some pictures with you, actually. Oh no, I hope not. Lewis Hamilton down towards the final corner, takes the lead of the Bahrain Grand Prix.
In Baku they were very fast. And the famous Vettel call in Montreal, where he could have won the race or not.
Oh, he's gone wide. Sebastian Vettel goes wide, and Lewis Hamilton thought there was a gap. Sebastian Vettel takes the checkered flag, but Lewis Hamilton wins the Canadian Grand Prix.
No, guys. No. Not like that.
Get in there, Lewis. Nice work, mate.
That is not the way. Naturally, I wanted to win, but I would have been past if it wasn't for the wall there, so...
Sebastian Vettel taking the number 2 from where his car should be, putting it in front of Lewis Hamilton's car, and then putting the number 1 in the blank space where his car should be.
So the statistics could have looked much worse for us than it actually does. And this is the reason why we are not taking our foot off the pedal. We believe we need to continue to push our performance level in order to win this championship, because our competition is not going to rest and watch us run away with it.
Questions were asked about whether you were going to be fully prepared for the start of the season. Was there any panic? Was there any doubt within the team?
We knew that the second car for the second week of testing would have been completely different with much more downforce. But then we put the car on track and it didn't perform as we would have hoped. I would say that there was skepticism whether we got it right or wrong. But the group really continued to assess and develop calmly. There was never any sense of nervousness. And in the last 2 days of the test, finally we reached the performance level of Ferrari, and we felt we are in a position where we are able to fight for race wins. Probably Ferrari would have the edge, but definitely not expecting that it would pan out as it did.
How important have the last 5 years been in ensuring that you didn't panic, that you didn't overreact to those issues?
It's a trap in which you can fall if you start to either be complacent or you feel a sense of entitlement for winning. You need to stay humble. Yesterday's race win doesn't win you tomorrow's competition. Somebody can develop a car in an intelligent way and you have done the opposite. Once we finish a race weekend, we analyze it on the Monday. We try to learn, then we close the chapter and we start with 0 points into the next race weekend. And this has been the mindset at Mercedes over the last 6 or 7 years.
The focal point of your team is your drivers. Let's start with the world champion. What have you seen from him this year that is either a reflection on the Lewis you've known before or maybe something new from what you've seen?
He's an integral part of the team and has developed as a racing driver, but even more spectacularly as a human being. When he joined from McLaren, it was for me like a raw diamond in a sense. You could see complications in his life and maybe lack of stability or understanding of what was needed, and all that disappeared through the Mercedes years. And every year he became a better Lewis, and knock on wood, in the last 2-3 years we've barely seen any mistakes, and if they happen, he's the first one to admit them, and that has contributed to our culture of being brutally honest with each other.
How important do you think it is for him to have a life outside of Formula One, that he can almost live that life and come and do Formula One as something fun, something he just can enjoy?
I think we need to stop putting people in boxes and say this is how a racing driver has to behave, but simply make the effort and try to understand the human behind the helmet and try to carve out the framework that make that person the best him or the best her and make them perform at the very top. And I believe that Lewis's various other interests, be it music or fashion, take his mind off between the races. And having a good time is something that I think is very positive and very important for his performance on the racing track. We are very open with each other what we do. We FaceTime, we send videos, and I feel in a very good place with him.
Talk about the human beings. Valtteri had a hard time last year, but came back and immediately hit the ground running this year. What change have you seen in him?
He suffered a lot at the end of the year because not only were his performances not matching his expectations, but also we didn't really give him a chance because it was clear that everything needed to be behind Lewis in order to win the championship. And that can send you in a negative spiral. And I think what he has managed is to recover. He went back to Finland, thought about things. I think he realized that he had a tremendous opportunity in being a Mercedes Works driver in Formula One, what is at the moment the best car, against the best driver out there. And that is an amazing gift that has been given, an opportunity that he has earned. And I think he came back with the mentality of saying, I got to nail this. I got to do the best I can. And you can see that now. His qualifying performance was great. He erased the deficits that he had against Lewis. And I think we are seeing a stronger Valtteri from race to race.
When you look around you, you see all of these cars, do you feel not necessarily the weight of history, but the importance of your place within it?
I think it's the importance, the almightiness of the brand. Whenever Mercedes decided to join Formula One, they came in with a big bang and were successful straight from the get-go in the 30s and then in the 50s with the famous silver arrows. Same time around after 2014, where we had a winning streak and therefore we are very much part of the success story of Formula One and part of the heritage of Formula One also. I feel the responsibility for what we do, because when you look at those iconic cars, it makes you think about the drivers that drove them, the engineers that built them, the directors that decided to take up the challenge. It just shows me that I have a baton that I carry, a responsibility that I carry for this very time that I am in charge, and one day I'm going to hand it over to somebody else. And probably the most important point is going to be to emphasize on the responsibility that he has in representing Mercedes in the motor racing scene.
How much is there still to come?
We've already stretched it quite far. We are competing for our 6th consecutive double championship, something that wasn't done before in any other sports, and we're very proud of having that opportunity. But having said that, it's not done yet. And if you do a 6th, then there's a 7th to conquer. And I think the most important is try to enjoy yourself, have fun, and stay humble.